we are going to study an activity. In this activity, we will try to generate charge upon neutral object. My dear student, you all know that every object is made up of charged particles. These charged particles are balanced, and as these charged particles are balanced, then the object is said to be neutral. My dear student, we can generate charge on this neutral object. When the charges on the neutral object become unbalanced, then charge is developed. So my dear student, here we have to make the positive charge and negative charge on the object to be unbalanced. How can we do this thing? We can do this thing by rubbing one object over another. Here, when we rub one object with the another object, then friction takes place, and the electricity produced is called as frictional electricity. It is also called as static electricity because charges are developed on the object at the place where the friction has been done. This charge remains for some time and then are absorbed by moist air. These charges are not flowing. They are rest on the object at a place where there is friction done between the two objects, and therefore the electricity produced is called as static electricity. My dear student, in this activity we will generate charge upon a neutral object. My dear student, here we have taken a glass rod, and this glass rod is a neutral object. It is neutral object because the positive charge and the negative charge present on the glass rod is the same. We have again taken another object, that is a silk cloth. My dear student, this silk cloth is also a neutral object because the positive charge and negative charge in the silk cloth is the same. Now we will try to develop charges on both these bodies by friction. This charge remain on the body for some time and then they are absorbed by moist air, and therefore the charge developed is called as static electricity. It is developed at the place where these two objects are rubbed. Let's take a glass rod and rub it with the silk cloth. My dear student, if we rub the glass rod with the silk cloth, charges are developed. It is found that glass rod gets positive charge and the silk cloth gets negative charge. My dear student, the glass rod gets positive charge and the silk cloth gets negative charge. How does it happen? My dear student, electrons or negative charge from the glass rod is given to the silk cloth, and when the negative charge comes out from the glass rod to the silk cloth, automatically what will happen? The positive charge in the glass rod will increase, and when the positive charge in the glass rod will increase, the glass rod will get positively charged. In the same way, silk cloth will also have the same number of positive charge and the same number of negative charge. But it has received a negative charge from the glass rod, and therefore silk cloth, here the number of negative charge is increased. As the number of negative charge is increased, the silk cloth will get negatively charged. Now here, my dear student, we have got two objects which were neutral, a glass rod and a silk cloth. When they were rubbed with each other, charges developed. The glass rod got charged to positive charge and the silk cloth got charged to a negative charge. Now my dear student, we have got a glass rod A which we have charged and the glass rod has got positive charge. Now my dear student, we will tie this glass rod which is A to a thread and allow it to suspend in the air. We will take another glass rod and say this glass rod to be glass rod B and repeat the same activity. We will rub this glass rod B with a silk cloth and due to friction, frictional electricity will be developed, static electricity will be developed. Both the object that is glass rod B and silk cloth will get charged. And we have seen glass rod will get positive charge and silk cloth will get negative charge. My dear student, both the objects are same. Both the object here taken is glass rod and a silk cloth. So same charges will be developed upon both the glass rod and both the silk cloth. Now if we take a glass rod and bring it near to another glass rod which is glass rod A which is suspended in the air with the help of thread, and if we try to bring another glass rod which is glass rod B which is also charged due to friction, what will happen? You will see that both the glass rod A and B having the same charges, that is positive charge, when brought close to each other, they try to move away from each other. Means there is repulsion. From this experiment, we can say that here there is repulsion between glass rod A and glass rod B. My dear student, from this experiment, we can say that when two charged objects are brought close to each other, and if these charged objects are having same charges upon it, then this object will try to move away from each other. Means there is repulsion between these two charged objects. So my dear student, we can draw a conclusion that like charge repels each other. The objects which are having the same charge will repel each other. My dear student, again we will do the same activity of friction, but here the two objects which we are going to consider is different. We are going to take a plastic rod and a woolen cloth. My dear student, when a plastic rod is rubbed against woolen cloth, again there will be charge developed. Again my dear student, we should keep one thing in mind, that the plastic rod is neutral because the positive charge and the negative charge in plastic rod are equal and therefore it is a neutral object. In the same way, the woolen cloth is also neutral because it also have the same positive charge and negative charge. Now we have to develop a charge on both the object. What will we do? We will rub them against each another. My dear student, when plastic rod is rubbed on the woolen cloth, charges are developed. It is found that the plastic rod develops negative charge and the woolen cloth develops positive charge. Now what is the reason behind it? My dear student, here the negative charge from the woolen cloth is given to the plastic rod. Now here, my dear student, when negative charge comes out of the woolen cloth, automatically what happens? The positive charge in the woolen cloth will increase. And if the positive charge will increase, then the woolen cloth will be said to have positively charged. In the same way, here my dear student, the plastic rod has received the negative charge given by the woolen cloth, and automatically what will happen? In plastic rod, the negative charge will increase. As the negative charge will increase in a plastic rod, it is said to be that plastic rod is negatively charged. Now my dear student, in the previous activity, what we have done? We have brought two objects, say glass rod A and glass rod B, which were having the same charges, that is positive, and we have found that they move away from each other, means there is repulsion between them. Now what we will do? We will keep the glass rod as it is, and now we will bring the plastic rod near the glass rod. My dear student, in this diagram, you will see a glass rod which is suspended in the air by a thread having charge, that is positive charge. And we have taken a plastic rod which is also charged. The charge developed on it is due to friction, and the charge which the plastic rod is having is a negative charge. And if it bring this plastic rod near the glass rod, here you will see that both glass rod and plastic rod will try to come close to each other. They come close to each other means there is attraction between them. So my dear student, from this experiment we can come to a conclusion that unlike charge attract each other. My dear student, experimentally it is proved that charged object attract uncharged object. Keep in mind, experimentally it is proved that charged object attract uncharged object. Second thing, the oppositely charged object attract each other, but the same charges repel each other. The same charges repel each other. My dear student, here we have come to conclusion, and this conclusion we have to keep in mind. The charged object attracts the uncharged object. Number one, there is attraction between two unlike charges, or there is attraction between two opposite charges. The third one, when the like charge or when the same charge objects are brought close to each other, then there is repulsion between them. Then, my dear student, a higher understanding can be developed that whenever you want to find out a charged object, then the confirmed test to find out whether the object is charged or not is a repulsion. Why? Because attraction takes place between charged and uncharged object also. So attraction cannot be considered to be a confirmed test to find out whether the object is charged or not. But repulsion is a confirmed test to find out whether the object is charged or not, because when like charge are brought close to each other, they repel. Unlike charge, they attract. A charged body can attract an uncharged body also. Thank you very much.